Welcome to Late to the Show. I'm your host, Prophet74. Today, I got the Ryzen again. I'm bringing in the Inspiron again, back again for demand because people are asking, how do you upgrade this machine? So today, I'm going to take you a little bit step by step how to do it. Now, it's a little difficult because there's a couple security things on the BIOS that you got to remove. Unfortunately, in order to upgrade the hard drive, the only way I found was that reinstalling the OS on it. I tried to clone it, it didn't work. So we're gonna try something on this one, and I end up putting an SSD card in here on M.2. So we're gonna take a look at it, how to install this, and it works the same if you're gonna install a solid state hard drive, a regular 2.5 hard drive. So we're gonna try it today and take a look at it. And if you have any questions, put them on your comments. In fact, this was a question from a couple of viewers out there that were asking me, please show me how to upgrade. So I'm gonna try my best to try to instruct you. Now, just to give you a heads up, on the BIOS system, I'm gonna put it on the TV right behind me. There's no way I could transmit the actual information to a video card or to Elgato, so it has to be filmed while I'm talking to it right behind the TV. So I'm gonna try to show you a little bit more details on that part, and that's gonna be the difficult part. All right, so we're gonna try my best to show you guys the BIOS stuff, the step that I had to do to install this. Okay, so let's take a look at it. And then remember, guys, I need subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and like the video if you guys think it's informative, if it helped you out, and also ring that bell because I got a lot of more hardware coming up. And not only that, we're getting a lot of sponsors that are sending great inventory to review. So stick around. We're gonna take a look at that too in the next couple of weeks from now on. I'm backloaded on stuff like that, so we're gonna take a look at it. And thank you all guys out there, and thank you all sponsors, and thank you for the 2,000 subscribers in a short span of months, so weeks actually. I would say, you know, great stuff. It tells me that, you know, encourages me to continue on to doing these videos, and I want to appreciate every single one of you. So we're gonna start giving away stuff too, man. So if you guys make sure you watch these things, because at the end we might have some giveaways, you never know, but not this video. Just to let you know, this is an informative video for all you gamers out there, so stick around. Every techie gamer / personnel should be watching this stuff, so stick around. Alright guys, this is the bird's eye view of the actual DELL Inspiron right here. So I'm going to show you a demo of a couple of things I did before I actually upgrade. So here we have two different slots for M.2. We have one M.2 slot here, and there is another one way back here. If you guys notice, it's a hidden one. I didn't really originally review this one because I missed this one. I could not see it. It was right behind the video card. It's one of those things that I missed it, and that was my fault. In fact, let me zoom in. And it tells you right there, that's the number 1 slot, and this is the number 2 slot here. And on number 2 slot, I saw the 2 and I was like, where is the number 1 slot? And I looked around after I removed the actual video card because I wanted to replace it. It was hidden right there in the back, really hidden in the back. It's I don't think I looked for it everywhere and I didn't see it, but until now I'm looking at it right now. See that slot right there? That's where the SSD M.2 is gonna go. Now if you have a regular hard drive and you're gonna put in the solid state hard drive, it would go in here, you know, and you could connect it with the extra connections. I added an extra one here. Actually, this is not the extra one, this is the original one, so I disconnected it right now because we're gonna upgrade. We're gonna put this M.2 in here, and this is 525 gigs. So if somebody told you 250, that's impossible. You could go higher. There's no way they have a lock on that. So if my thing's correct, we're gonna install this 525 gigs of M.2 in this system. Or if you're gonna install a regular hard drive, it'll be the same steps. All you have to do is disconnect the original one, connect this one, get another SATA connection. For the secondary, you can use this one because right now the one that it comes with, a 3.5, it is a freaking not a solid state hard drive. So you want to replace that too. You want to make it faster, you got to put a solid state hard drive or an M.2. Either way, if you're gonna install this, this one, or this one right here, same direction, other than it goes in different slots. So first of all, like I said, if you're gonna upgrade to either one, of these, you're gonna probably have to reinstall the OS, because I haven't found another way around it right now. So in order for me to do this right now, I'm gonna have to install the smaller one, of course, the 500, because this is a 500 and this is 500. They're both 500, if you notice. I just put in 500. So I'm gonna add only one of them in here to be my OS, and I prefer the M.2 to be the main crucial one, which is the smaller one here. So in order to add this in here, you will probably have to add extra connections, so you need to find another extra SATA, because there's already one for the original hard drive. Now I would recommend you to disconnect the original one if you're going to install the new one, because the OS is on the old one. So just make sure you disconnect the old one, before you continue with the new one. And then I will format that hard drive and use it as something else. But right now we're going to go ahead and disconnect it, and we're going to install this M.2 in here, and it's very simple. So like I was talking about, it had one slot here, and there's another slot right behind here, and it's going to go on the second one, on the one in the back hidden. So there's two ways you can do this. You can remove the actual video card if you want. Now to remove the video card, you have to unscrew here. You would have to unscrew here, right here, remove this whole aluminum, and then you have to disconnect it, of course, and then you have to remove it. Or if you have little tiny fingers, not sausage fingers like mine, because look at this, it's the size of my freaking finger almost, you know. So I'm gonna try to fit this in there and lock it in. So right now with one hand, yes, one hand, I'm gonna try it, see if I can do this without messing it up. So right now it goes in here. I'm actually just looking at the camera and I don't know what I'm looking at, and it goes in the slot. It's a little tight. It's a little tight for me, but I'm actually gonna put the camera down. I'm not gonna do this two fingers. All right, hold on. Ooh, after struggling with these big giant sausage fingers, I finally got it. So it's one of those things. Let me zoom in some more. Let me see if I can. There it is. So I finally got it. Right now it's still sticking up, if you notice. So the last step would be to actually just put in the screw and push it down. Oh man, that one little drive took me forever. So let's take a look. Let's actually put it up. Let me put the camera down now that I'm gonna put the screw in. All right, so I finally got the screw in there. I disconnect the original hard drive because I don't want nothing to conflict with it. I want that one to be my OS first of all. So this one I want to make sure it's my OS. So either way, if you're gonna connect the M.2 or like I say, either one, you just have to disconnect the original one and put this one in there. Now, like I said, I didn't find another way to put skip without erasing the OS, the original one. You have to reinstall the OS. Unfortunately, you have to do that. So either download it on a USB or download from Microsoft somehow, but you got to get the original OS either on CD or whatever it takes. So let's take the next step. All right, so after starting the computer, you hit F2. Now, sometimes you're gonna have problems when it's booting up, because I had problems myself when it was booting up. It wasn't showing up on the video card at all. So I had to try a couple of times to restart it. It's a little, it's a little fidgety right now. As you can see, my hard drive is showing up now, but that's because I had to do a step, and unfortunately I cannot take you from the beginning because I just did it a couple of days ago, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did in order to install it. So right now, if you can see the SSD, the M.2 is showing up in here now. It's because it wasn't showing up at the beginning. You got to do something that's crucial in here. And the important thing that you got to do that's crucial, I'm going to show you a little bit. And like I said, unfortunately, you're going to have to delete your OS. So let me take you step by step on the next thing. So right now, we're going to go into security. This is where you got to match. Let me see, advanced security boot. Here it is. You have to go boot. So right now, this system, it's remembering, it's a security issue with the UEFI. No matter if you install the latest firmware, you're gonna have problems. So if you're trying to remove the video card and upgrade the video card, you need to remove this line here. You need to remove all that stuff and probably reinstall your OS. If you want to upgrade the video card or the hard drive, Same goes to both. It won't show up until you delete this line. So unfortunately, you have to go into these lines here, and you gotta pretty much delete the whole thing. And this one too for the boot manager, because it's a security thing. It remembers a hard drive. It's like a BitLocker. It only, if you don't know about BitLocker, it encrypts certain keys. And right now this thing is encrypted into the hard drive. So unfortunately, you have to remove these two lines. You got to keep them blank. After you do that, you have to reinstall your OS through the USB. It'll pick up the new hard drive. It'll find a new hard drive because it doesn't have this security line no more. And then you'll be able to do it. Now, this part, the UEFI, it's the security on the actual freaking machine that I despise the most on this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me get it better. Unfortunately, a lot of companies are going that way. Not every company, because if you buy a motherboard, usually you could disable it. Right here, I tried to disable multiple different ways. It's a little difficult. So the only way I was able to do it is delete these lines. And you could delete these two lines by going into this feature here. It says on the bottom where it says, let me see if you could do that. You could change the value, F5. Nope. Okay, so when you want to delete, you go in the bottom one, and right here it says delete boot options. Unfortunately, you have to say yes, but just make sure you have a USB to boot up your OS again, or you're going to be stuck on it. If you don't have that, then you're going to have a problem. Make sure you fit the OS, and remember, the OS fits around 10 gigs on a USB. So if you don't have a 10 gig USB, then you're going to have a problem. You could download the actual Microsoft Windows edition, the 10, from Windows themselves, from Microsoft. So before you commence that, make sure you have all that. So once you hit yes, you go ahead and exit here, and you actually change the boot sequence, and you will have to say boot legacy, and you will say USB here. It's already on. If you notice, you have to have a little, let me see if I could zoom in some more. So once you go into boot sequence, you got to make sure you have boot USB storage device to boot on first. If you don't have that, then you're going to have a problem. You have to come back in here and redo it again. So make sure you have that, or if you have a CD format for the actual Windows, then you use the CD. But right now I have a USB. So once I delete that, I say boot from USB first, before most, because unfortunately it's not going to see any hard drive after you delete this. After you let me go back. After you delete this line here on the BIOS, it's not going to see your hard drive. So you have to delete. Once you delete this, it's going to disappear from your database on the system, and then you have to restart again, installing the OS again. But like I said, after you delete this line by hitting enter, you say yes, but I'm not going to do it now because I've done it already. If you notice that it's been done already, so I'm going to escape, of course. But once you delete the line, you have to go back into the boot legacy boot, because there's no UEFI. UEFI is only if you have a key card system for the government, you have a fingerprint reader, you have something that identifies, that stores your actual encryption over. So we don't have none of those. We don't have any of the boot UEFI. Actually, I keep messing it up all the time. So unfortunately, we don't have any of those boot sequences. If you create one, like you could create a floppy disk or something, or another USB. You could actually create a UEFI and a USB too. So it's possible. It's real possible, easy to do. So you could transfer this information over to actually a USB or other devices too. But unfortunately, I don't have any of that stuff set up. So that's something that I have to do. So then once you delete the UEFI boot sequence, like I said, you go to legacy boot. After legacy boot, you gotta make sure you say USB storage device. If you don't do that, then unfortunately you're not gonna be able to boot your OS from there. Once you do your OS, your hard drive will show up in there on the sequence itself. So follow the steps on the next step. If you guys want more information about it, please let me know. I will put more videos on this. If you have more questions, you could email me, you could text me, you could put all that information right below. If you have questions on the Inspiron, it's a little difficult to work with these machines, but either hard drive you install, either the M.2 or the solid state, the SSD, you have to do the same sequence. And unfortunately, I haven't found another way to skip without, using another hard drive. I tried to clone the hard drives. It didn't work. I have a cloner and I installed it. For some reason, something's encrypted in those two lines that I just showed you. So fortunately, I had to delete the line and reinstall the OS. I don't have anything in the system, so I pretty much went blank slate. You might want to do this anytime you want to upgrade your video card. You gotta install also a new OS. You're probably gonna have to go through the same sequence. There is a way to back it up. Like I said, if you back up the UEFI on either a USB or somewhere else, you might be able to be successfully transfer over to the next hard drive or the next system. Now, I couldn't get it to do it. I tried many things. This motherboard is locked out. It's completely locked down. That's one thing I didn't like about this machine. I couldn't mess around with the BIOS. I couldn't do anything. They pretty much, it's like a sequence. They want you to go one direction. They don't want you to get out of the line. That's pretty much what it is on this machine. If I was you, to be honest with you, if you ever want to upgrade to something better and you want to use the same machine, maybe you could use the same case and same connections, maybe upgrading the motherboard, because if you want to do like overclocking, add different additional video cards in here, you're gonna need a couple more things on that. So this machine is pretty good for any kind of games right now. And then I had issues when I was playing with VR stuff because some of the VR wasn't transferring. It wasn't playing very good. I added extra memory and it didn't help out either way. So there's something locking it out, slowing it down. Unfortunately, I'm not technical on those things. I don't know the encryption. I don't know what's in the motherboard. I have to have more details. And there's been a lot of links about this machine, about people complaining about how difficult it is to do something. And it's unfortunate that Dell does this because this is going to be their downfall. They're locking everything down for you not to touch stuff. This is not the way to go. You gotta have an open source, open system. You know, it's just, you gotta go back to the old school where you could buy your own equipment, you could buy your own hard drive, you could do all sorts of things. If you call Dell right now, it's a freaking joke. The guy was like, I never heard of this, never even seen. They're not prepared for this system, and they're pushing it out. I don't think they have the knowledge yet. I'm not sure if they're gonna catch up or they're being trained on, but it's really bad that even Dell can. If you don't believe me, go ahead and call them and ask them the same questions. How can I upgrade the video card on this machine without me redoing the OS? How can I install a new hard drive in here? And they're gonna tell you 250 gigs is impossible. They're telling you that 256 is the maximum. I'm gonna prove you wrong. So if you guys notice, I installed the the M.2 hard drive in here. It was a 525 gigs. Let me show you something. This is it. Just boot it up on Windows. I'm gonna show you exactly where I'm gonna go to my system here. Whoa. Stop the video. Here it is. Let me show you all the stuff. So right now, 12 gigs of memory. I actually added extra 6 gigs, all right? There it is, your hard drive. And then don't ever let nobody tell you that it's impossible. 256 is not. One of my subscribers said that Dell told them it was 256. Bull crap. They don't want you to mess with this. They're scaring you. You know, you can do anything you want to do. It's your machine. So, but like I said, you might void the warranty and check your manufacturer and all that stuff, all that crap. You know what I'm talking about. But don't take my word if you're not an expertise on this stuff. And if you want another video on this, I can help you out. I mean, I had no problem. I'm actually doing this video for one of our subscribers out there. And I really appreciate him for asking this question and hanging on so long for the video to come out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to present every single tiny little step from installing the OS, because if you don't know how to do the OS, then don't mess around with this stuff. Just to let you guys know. If not, have somebody else do it for you that's more tech savvy. So they told this subscriber that he couldn't do 200 more higher than 256. I just proved it wrong right now. You saw the 525 SSD M2 going in that slot. So there is 2 slots, so that means there's 2 ways of doing it. I haven't set up another one because I haven't had the time. or the money to actually buy another one, because they're very expensive, you know. Especially the higher the gigs you go, the more expensive it gets. And I've been looking into prices right now, and it just hasn't dropped right now. But as more machines get built and better systems come out, it's gonna drop the prices. I would say probably after around May, that's when I'm gonna start seeing more inventory get cheaper. And China's gonna start pushing out their own hard drives too. They have a company out there that's pretty inexpensive, but I heard bad reviews about it because the quality is not very good yet. It's not there, but they're improving. And as soon as they get more competitive with American markets, prices are going to drop. So the price of steel, aluminum, it's going to affect the prices on everything right now. So if you have the chance to buy a hard drive right now, buy it right now, because you're going to see an increase. I'm predicting here. It might not happen, but because of unfortunately all those increases of metals and solids, they're going to increase the prices on actually hardware, because most of the chip manufacture is not made in the US, it's made external. The only one that makes in the US is Intel, and they even inventory from India too, some of their parts, I mean some of the components. Now some of the big companies, they source out. They don't even build it in California or United States at all. So they got to import their stuff, and every time they import, it costs money. So, and unfortunately, it costs money to the consumer, the ones that are mostly needing all this equipment. So if you guys see a price hike, remember, you heard it here first. You know, people don't think about putting these two things together, but unfortunately, it happens a lot. When but you know what? It's a good thing, because there's gonna be more competitors. They get aggressive. They don't want to raise the prices. They get cheaper, but the quality gets a little bit dropped down, and then somebody has to pick up the slack sometimes. They say, hey, they're gonna start advertising, this guy is producing this cheaper, we're producing at Core 5, Core 1000, Core 110, whatever it is, at their prices. So this is happening right now with Intel and AMD. They're having like a chip war right now. Fortunately, Intel is able to come out with these great chips. They're just being tight about them, and they're doing one by ones, little by little, instead of sending all the cores at once. There's an article, a great article about this, and right now that there's a CPU war. But now with the prices of the metals and the aluminum and all that stuff, it might change. One of those things that might change the prices. We might see more or less competing, and more concentrating on saving money, because these companies are not gonna like the price increase. And unfortunately, like I said, all the freaking companies that are building PC stuff is imported into the United States. So just to let you guys know, if you guys like what you see, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe please. I need subscribers out here. And I want to thank everyone, every single one of you. And like I said, this video was custom made for one of the viewers out there. And if you have want to know any questions, or you have any problems on any machines, hey, I could do that too. So I could do a live chat on this stuff. If you guys really like the stuff, I could come out and say, hey, let's answer your question, let's see what's going on. And we could even do a Google live meeting between us, so I can help you out and give you some tips. I've been working in the IS industry for maybe 20 plus years, and I'm pretty tech savvy in a lot of stuff. I mean, if the things that I don't understand, I'm a fast learner. I have context for every single component, software, programming, all sorts of things in the industry. I work in a big, large industry. I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm fortunate to have all these great connections, great contacts, that anybody that has any kind of questions, from 3D, from game designing, from Linux to Apple to Windows 10 to hardware, I'm capable of reaching out to all that and expanding that stuff. And I appreciate every single one of you guys as a subscriber. It motivates me, it keeps me going to do more videos like this. And if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. I'm your host, Prophet74, out.